What's a secret you'll never tell your partner, but are willing to tell strangers on Reddit? Story 1. I never paid for her engagement ring. I went to a custom jeweler to have her ring made. It's a beautiful piece, and she loves it dearly, and it certainly wasn't cheap, appraised and insured for around $10,000. The jeweler was dealing with a lot of family issues at the time, and was incredibly disorganized. I went to pick up the ring and brought my checkbook to pay for it, and when she handed me the ring I took it out and asked her who to make the check out to. She said, "Oh no, don't worry about it right now, just send me a check in the mail." I thought that was strange, but sure, okay. She then hurried off to help another customer, and I left. But she never told me what the final price was. For the next 6 months, I texted and called the jeweler asking, "Hey, just tell me what amount to put and I'll mail you the check." And there was always a reason she couldn't tell me. "Oh sorry, I'm out right now. I'll find it and text you later." Her shop was a few hours away from where I live, so it wasn't feasible to stop by and handle it in person. I tried for 6 months, but after that I stopped calling, texting, and just figured I got the ring for free. I wouldn't tell my spouse because I don't want her to think I took advantage of the situation or that somehow the ring isn't as meaningful because I didn't pay for it. Story 2. When he was away for work for 4 months and I was working full-time and single parenting and depressed af. One morning I hurried our kid out to the car before daycare with my hands full of stuff. I put everything in the car, put it in gear, and looked over my shoulder to back up. I backed up about 2 feet and hit the brakes. I didn't put our kid in the car. I was looking at an empty car seat. My toddler was standing beside his door on the passenger side waiting for me, and now he was crying because he thought I was ditching him. If I hadn't looked over my shoulder, I could have run over our kid. Blame sleep deprivation and all the other shit going on, but mom guilt still eats me alive when I think about those 2 feet. And my husband will never know because I don't ever want him to think I'm a bad mom or know exactly how bad it was for me while he was away. Story 3. I got our toddler out of bed one morning and went to do a sniff test of their butt to see if they had pooed overnight. And when I lifted my child up, I stuck their head in the ceiling fan. Oh, and the time I forgot to put the car in park with them in it. Story 4. Using my alt because she follows my main account. My girlfriend of 5 years has been deaf since she was 6. She reads lips pretty well, but prefers sign language. I didn't know a single sign when I met her, but I could tell right away there was something between us, so I started learning after I got home from our first date. Fast forward a few years, I'm now fluent in ASL and we use it to talk almost exclusively. When she's not looking though, I talk to her even though she can't hear me or see my lips to read. I tell her how much I love her, how I'm going to marry her someday, how beautiful she is, etc. I've even been practicing proposing, so it's not so terrifying when I actually do it. She has no idea, and I plan to keep it that way. That he legit saved my life. He's a nervous, humble guy who doesn't like undue pressure or praise, so I keep it to myself just how bad off I was before he showed up. Because even in the aftermath of my mom's death, and even in the face of some pretty nasty health problems, I was very, very good at smiling and being charming. 3 years of taking care of a terminally ill parent taught me how to smile and bear it and feign positivity even when you're running on empty. And I never felt like I could be anything other than the fixer, the doer, the person who always knows what to say, the reliable one, they who has every answer and can make bad feelings go away by just fixing the problem for you. I was not allowed to be negative, ever, but he legit came in and helped me with mom's estate and cheerleaded me into getting out of a dead-end career and put a stake in the heart of some severely toxic relationships I had and even helped me budget so I could finally afford health insurance, which wasn't a moment too soon because I caught shit right in the nick of time. And he just kind of did it. In his mind, it was nothing much because you were on the right track, but you had a lot on your plate and needed help. And I just nod and agree because what else do I say? I actually wasn't. I was just going to let myself die because I was exhausted and miserable, smiles aside. Thanks for intervening. Story 6. I'm disabled. He works and brings home the bag. We do get disability pay, so it's still 2 incomes. I mostly clean, but my health gets in the way a lot. But man, I don't think I can ever tell him just how guilty I feel over my inability to consistently contribute. I hate that my disability and health overshadow some days. He gets home from work, and the minute he sees how sick I feel that day, he drops everything and ignores his own exhaustion to fuss over me. He should be able to come home to a meal cooked and a relaxing night of sitting on his ass before the next day of work. Sometimes he does get that, but a lot of times it's just us making food together and cuddling and gaming rather than me being able to take care of him. I hate it deeply. Edit. Ooh, I honestly expected this to get buried LMFAO. Yes, I have talked to him about it a bit, just not about how often I feel guilty or how deeply I feel it. I do my best to make up for it on my good days. He has no problems with helping me out. At the end of the day, it's my mindset that needs working on. Story 7. That she killed a cat. She's very much a cat person. Once she picks me up from a friend's house and driving through town. A cat ran in front of us and we heard a thud underneath the car. She screamed and looked in the rearview mirror and we seen the cat stagger into a driveway. She was very upset and convinced she killed it. I told her no, the cat clearly ran across the street and is probably fine. She was meeting some friends and I was taking the car home, so she said would I check the driveway of that house on my way home to make sure the cat was okay. I said I would. I drove back that way and parked a few houses down and looked in the driveway, and there it was, lying motionless, sprawled out on the ground. Oh shit. Part of me was thinking just go home and say you seen it happily licking its anus, but curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to check to make sure it was still living. The problem was it was a gated house that was also a B&B, so I didn't want to just wander in on someone else's property, so I rang the phone number on the sign at the side of the road. By this stage I'm thinking, what the hell are you at? You should have been home long ago, but I was on autopilot and just went with it. The owner answers and I tell him there's a possibility dead cat in your drive. Do you mind if I come in just to check it's okay? The guy is like, yeah, I guess. It's just I'm out of town and there's no one here, but it's fine if you want to let yourself in the side gate. He also says thanks, so at this point I have to do it. I'm too far in now. I let myself in and walk over and there she is, a big dead cat. Oh balls. Well, I'll just tell my wife the cat wasn't there and we can forget about the whole thing. Except the owner now knows there could be a dead cat on his property, and when he gets home and sees it lying there, he's got my number and will know I just left it there. So now I have to make a decision. Do I leave this dead cat here or do I take it away, and if I do, what do I do with it? Across the street is a store, so I walk over and buy bin bags and rubber gloves, make my way back over and scoop the fluffy corpse into a bin bag. Now I got a dead cat in a bag. I walk over to my car carrying this black bin bag. People are walking past me on the street, smiling and giving that upwards nod that strangers give. I give a nod back, but I'm not fully into it because they don't know I'm walking past them with a dead cat in a bin bag. I don't feel like taking it into my car because, it's a dead cat. So I Google vets and there happens to be one not too far away, walking distance. I ring and ask them, do they dispose of dead pets? They said they do. So I make my way down there and through the front door and ask the receptionist, was I just talking to them about pet disposal? She looks at me slightly freaked and says yes. I produce the bag and say, oh well, I have a cat here, and can I just give it to her? She's like, yeah, you just leave it at our back door back outside, and charges me 50 quid for the pleasure. I walk back to the car and sat there for at least half an hour in silence and as still as a dead cat, trying to process the last hour of my life. I text my wife and say, no honey, couldn't find the cat. She must be fine and ran off somewhere safe. Story 8. That I have been seriously considering divorce for about 18 months now. She never smiles, never says anything nice, and is always complaining about everything. The only reason that I don't leave is my 2 children. I'm almost 100% certain that she would escalate from just her verbal to physical abuse towards them. She had her uterus and ovaries removed 9 years ago and has completely lost interest in any form of affection. Not just the sex, though I miss that. I mean hugs and kisses, holding hands, wanting to be close. She thinks that buying me things would replace the lack of contact. Her close-mindedness has caused our daughter to stop talking to her about anything at all. Jean now confides in me about everything and is worried about what her mother would do if it was found out that she is more interested in girls than boys. I work 90 minutes away from our home and I had a small apartment close to my work so I wouldn't have to make the 3-hour round trip every day. I was forced to give up the apartment because we couldn't afford 2 households, but she keeps buying crap we don't need. She never cleans the house at all, always stating that no one else cleans up after themselves, so she's not going to anymore either. She uses her depression as an excuse for everything to get out of doing anything she doesn't like to do. If I thought I could get custody of the kids, I think I would leave in a heartbeat. Story 9. There has never been a time I thought my spouse was unattractive. Not even once, whether it be personality, quirks, or even situations that are irritating. He's been the most handsome man I've ever seen. I'm so lucky I got him, but May 26, 2022, the day we had our son, he cried. He cried through the delivery and never once left our son's side. He fell in love instantly. He's been a doting, loving dad since day one. But I have never been more attracted to him. It's hard to explain, and I know sometimes the rush women get from giving birth is a high like rush. But I have been obsessed watching him take care of our baby. I'm sure you guys want to know why. I will never tell him, but I'd tell strangers. It's simple. Watching him dote on our son is my guilty pleasure. He doesn't know because it could ruin the way he is with our son. Sure, he could say it wouldn't change anything, but this is my secret. I have never been more in love with this man. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting Reddit stories. Consider checking out our other videos as well. It would mean the world to us.